Hello everyone. So we are going to start the last part of the unit deformation of solids. So here in this unit we are going to have the basic concept of bulk and shear stresses as well as the Haeckel equation, which is also an important part of the deformation of solid. So without wasting any time, let's start the presentation. So first of all, we have already studied the Young's modulus, right? Now let us discuss about the bulk modulus. The bulk modulus, it is designated with the letter capital B. So what do you mean by the bulk modulus? It is same with that of the Young's modulus. In the Young's modulus, it is the ratio of the shear stress to the strain, right? Here bulk stress to the bulk strain. So as per the definition, the ratio of the bulk stress can be defined as the change in the pressure, right? So bulk modulus, it is the ratio of the bulk stress, that is the change in the pressure, to the bulk strain, which is the fractional change in the volume. You can also define it as or B, that is your bulk modulus is equal to bulk stress divided by bulk strain. So bulk stress, it is expressed as delta P, as we have already discussed in our previous classes, right? And bulk strain, it is the delta V by V naught. So here this minus sign, why we have given this minus sign? You should remember one thing, that this negative sign actually it is inserted because an increase in the pressure, an increase in the bulk stress, it always led to what? Decrease of the volume. So this decrease of the volume, this V, delta V, it is decreasing upon increasing the pressure. Thus decreasing amount, it is designated with this minus sign. So don't get confused, this minus sign we have used because increase of the bulk stress or delta P value led to the decrease of the volume, and it is vice versa. Clear? Now let's have some physical modalities regarding the bulk modulus. So you should know that the bulk modulus, it is always a positive quantity. The unit of the bulk modulus B, it is Newton per meter square, right? Now for small pressure changes in either your solid or a liquid, we consider the bulk modulus to be constant. I repeat, for a small change in pressure, that is your bulk stress, for small change in the bulk stress in case of solid or a liquid, we always consider the bulk modulus to be constant. Means the bulk modulus, they don't get affected with a small change in the pressure. However, the bulk modulus of a gas, it depends on the initial pressure. For gases, the bulk modulus, it depends upon the initial pressure of the gas. But for solid and liquid, small change in the pressure, it don't affect the bulk modulus. Clear? So one more term is there, which is known as the compressibility. Now what do you mean by compressibility? See, by definition, compressibility is nothing but it is the reciprocal of the bulk modulus. Compressibility, it is the reciprocal of the bulk modulus, and it is always denoted with small k. So the equation for compressibility, K, it is the reciprocal of the bulk modulus, means K is equal to 1 by B. B, it is the bulk modulus. So as we know that the B is equal to minus delta P by delta V by V naught. So K can be written as minus delta V V naught delta P. So unit for the compressibility is per Newton meter square. Unit for compressibility is per Newton meter square. So here you see it only occur in the liquid. The compressibility only occur in the liquid, and the value of the compressibility for several liquids are given here. For example, carbon disulfide, it has a compressibility of 93. Ethyl alcohol, it has a compressibility of 110. Glycerin, it has a compressibility of 21. Mercury, 3.7. Water, 45.8. So you should remember one thing, that the liquid with large value of compressibility, for example ethyl alcohol, the liquid with large value of compressibility and small bulk modulus are easier to compress. The liquid with large volume of compressibility, large value. The liquid with large value of compressibility. As we all know that the compressibility it is inverse of the bulk modulus. If the value of the compressibility is more, then definitely the value of the bulk modulus is less. So the liquid with a large value of compressibility, they are very easier to compress, and it is vice versa. The next concept, it is your shear modulus. So similarly, here shear modulus can be defined as simple, the ratio of the shear stress to that of the shear strain. It is the shear modulus, or you can write it as S. Shear modulus is designated with S. So S is equal to shear stress divided by shear strain. So shear stress, it is defined as the force. This is the parallel force. F by A, it is the shear stress divided by X by H. It is the shear strain. So S, now just rearrange this, is equal to FH by AX. So here you see H by X can be defined as tan alpha. Hope you have remembered what we have discussed in the previous class. Thus here S can be written as F A tan alpha. Thus the shear modulus is applied to the solid materials only. You should remember the shear modulus, it is always applied to the solid material, and unit of the shear modulus, it is nothing but Newton per meter square. Clear? So here for different material like tungsten, steel, copper, brass, aluminum, glass, whatever it is, so we have different values of Young's modulus, shear modulus and bulk modulus. So these are their value. Got it? Now the last part of this unit, it is the Haeckel equation. So what do you mean by the Haeckel equation, or where this Haeckel equation it is applied? Haeckel equation mostly applied in the powdered form of drugs, powdered form. So here you should need to know one concept, it is the void. So what is void? The void, it means a empty space. Suppose we have some powder in our hand, right? If we hold this, suppose we have, let us assume a experiment. We have a glass where we have filled the glass with suppose 100 gram of any powder, right? So this 100 gram of powder will have the void space in between them, because of which it will have a bigger volume or higher volume. Now if we tap the glass, after some time you will find that the powder has come down, means their void spaces has been removed because of the tapping, means the air has escaped out. So this concept, this equation, it is totally based on the void, So let us take the example how it is done. You see the variation in the volume with the applied pressure are defined by a way of numerous equations, among which the Haeckel theory, it is the most vital theory, right? Now what the Haeckel equation or Haeckel theory say? As per the Haeckel theory measured that the decline in the void, the decline of the void means after tapping the powder, the volume of the powder will come down, right? Now this decline, this coming down or this decreasing of the void, it always follow the first order kinetics connection with the applied pressure. Now what do you mean by the first order kinetics? Simple. The first order kinetic, in the first order kinetic, the rate of equation, it is always directly proportional to the concentration of the reactant, right? Thus as per the Haeckel equation, the decline of the voids or the decrease of the volume of a powdered form of drug or powder, it generally follows the first order kinetics, means the decrease of the volume of the powder, it is directly proportional to the applied pressure. The more you will apply the pressure, the more it will decline in the volume, right? So for compression method, Haeckel has suggested the following equation. The equation is very simple. This is the negative logarithm of V by V minus V alpha is equal to Kp plus V naught by V naught minus V alpha. So what are these terms? These terms are nothing but here this V, it is the volume at the applied pressure P. V, it is the volume at the applied pressure P, and this V naught, it is the original volume of the powder including the voids. This V naught, it is the original volume or initial volume before the application of the pressure of the V naught. It is the initial volume of the powder, right? And what do you mean by the V alpha? V alpha is nothing but it is the volume of the powder excluding the void. Means V alpha, it is the tapped volume. Means after tapping the volume has come down. So V alpha, it is the volume of the powder after excluding the void. And K, it is the constant. And where P, it is the simple the applied pressure. Now the concept is that you see, we know that the porosity means the voids. The porosity is actually designated with E. The porosity, it is the ratio. The void, it is the ratio of the total volume of the void space. The porosity can be defined, the porosity for powder can be defined as the total volume of the void space divided by bulk volume of the powdered material. I repeat, the porosity E is equal to total volume of the void space divided by bulk volume of the powdered material, right? So here E can be defined as V. It is the V minus V alpha, that is the total volume of the void space divided by the bulk volume V. Now let us put this value in this equation. What you are going to get? So replacing the value in the previous equation, this equation become natural logarithm of 1 by E, that is inverse of the porosity, is equal to Kp V naught by V naught minus V alpha. Here we have put the value. So this equation has been changed to this by replacing with the value of the E. Thank you everyone for your patience hearing. So if you like the video, just press the like icon. You can share this video. You can subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again.